boulder person? And I was like, oh, nobody. Like, you just read your lines and send them in. And she's like, well, that's boring. Why don't you let me read the boulder? And I was like, okay, whatever. I did not care. I also did not know that it was for Avatar at the time. Even though I had voiced Mang in season 1, I did not know it was the same show because the script changed, whatever, different characters. And so she came into the studio with me and she read the Boulder's lines and I read Toph's lines and we sent it in and that was my audition. And I guess they liked it because then they booked me. But I really want that audition tape because we save everything now and you can find it in your downloads or whatever, but I have no idea where that file is, but it's me and my grandma reading the lines.
I was just gonna ask you save that footage. That would be so cool.
I bet it still exists. I bet they have it somewhere.
You think, but Nickelodeon is not good at archival stuff. Like Disney saves everything. But Nickelodeon, I feel like, did not do that the same way. I feel like they don't have as much of the archival things that they do. And SpongeBob, yes, they care about SpongeBob. We get it. But I don't know if they did that the same way with Avatar stuff. But yeah, that was my first episode experience.
Well, my first step, mine was a little different. People always had a lot of fun being Uncle Iroh. No, voicing Uncle Iroh at the beginning was terrifying because I was not only stepping into this iconic character, but also this iconic actor who voiced the iconic character. So I really felt the weight of it going in the very first day. And although I had done some work, mostly at the time I worked for the Walt Disney Company in Burbank as a paralegal. Mainly that's what I did. And so suddenly, not only am I going in, the second voice of Uncle Iroh, but there's Mae Whitman, there's Dante Bosco, there's Greg Delisle, there's these people. It's like, what am I doing in it? They're going to throw me out anytime. So yeah, it was very nervous. I was very nervous. It was very nerve-wracking. To this day, I think I finally accepted the fact that maybe they're not going to fire me. That maybe I get to keep the gig. But and even now I still feel Mako. I feel the weight of his mantle, I guess to say,
It's big shoes to fill, but I think you did a pretty darn good job, my dear. I think we can all agree with that.
Absolutely. I want to follow that up because I know that at times, you were just saying, Greg, yourself, that it can be intimidating stepping into a role, especially into a world like this. But there has to be moments of levity as well. So in the booth, do you guys remember, or can you recall any of a moment that stands out to you that you kind of recall back now and it keeps you laughing even to this day from a moment that happened in the booth?
I think, I don't, being a kid actor is great and very fun if you have healthy parents. Because the only reason I started was because I asked my mom kind of incessantly when I was 5. I was like, hey, that acting thing. And she was like, sure. And I was like, hey, so this acting thing. And she's like, all right. And I was like, so the acting. She's like, okay, we'll do it. But I just got to have fun. I did it for as long as I wanted to, and around after Avatar, actually, I stopped for a while because I wanted to go to high school. I thought I wanted to be pre-med, I thought I wanted to be a doctor. It's a different time, different place. But I wanted to do school, and she was very much like, you're done? Cool, you got it. And there was no pushback, there was no, oh, you just booked a lead role in a Nickelodeon show, maybe you shouldn't quit now. There was no pressure, because I just wanted the normal stuff. So when I was recording, I did not feel pressured too much, and I think that's also a testament to the creators. Mike and Brian created a very, first of all, incredible story with incredible lessons and great dialogue. I was never reading a line being like, who would say this? Which happens in some other shows. They sound weird when they talk. And this show, it made sense. The story made sense, the conflicts made sense, the resolutions made sense. And so when I was there, I was always just excited because whenever you open the big door to the studio to walk in and check in, sometimes you'd just walk in and it would just be a normal day. And other days you'd open the door and you'd get just smacked in the face with fresh popcorn scent. And it was like, ooh, they just made it, it's gonna be a good day. And so I would go to the kitchen and get fresh popcorn and just be chilling in the studio, munching in between lines. And I just remember, I think maybe all of us resonate. Well, maybe not all. Some of us resonate with this. Dante Bosco would often show up late, and he would often show up in a leather jacket with his motorcycle helmet under his arm. And as a 13-year-old female, I was just I was like, who is this guy? What is happening? It's this is crazy. And he's like, sorry, I'm late. And I was like, shut up.
It's a pretty good impression.
That's very kind of you. But I just remember random snippets that, and I had laryngitis the day that we did the Melon Lord scene, so we had to wait till the very end to like scream Melon Lord because I was losing my voice, and so we got, I think, literally 2 takes, and then my voice was gone. So the one that you hear was one of those takes. It worked out, but like those are like my memories. It's little like snapshots of like sense or moments of somebody walking through a door, or like the feeling of the handle. I don't know. Those are like my little snapshotty memories. But laughing, I don't know. I don't know if there was ever a big funny moment, because I recorded alone a lot, so like there wasn't a ton of like playing off of other people.
And I was so freaked out as
You
they
were just
say. There
panicked.
wasn't a lot of laughing going on. I was
Panicked
just,
all the time.
I hope they don't flare me. But what I do remember, my favorite memory of when we were actually recording was it was the very last day.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there,
It was very
sitting there again. I had been a paralegal at Disney, and sort of in this world with these giants all of a sudden, and I'm sitting there in the green room waiting to go into the booth, and this guy sits next to me, and I look at him, and it's Mark Hamill, and my inner monologue at this point is like, oh my God, that's Mark Hamill! That's Mark Hamill! Oh my God! Oh, all right, be cool, man. Be cool. You're professional. You're professional. No, do not fanboy. Don't say anything. Be cool. Don't say anything at all. Don't even notice him. Don't even notice him. So that's what I did. Not even notice him. And the cool thing, Mark Hamill is indeed a famously nice guy. He came up to me after the recording session and said, hey, we haven't met. That was nice work in there. My name is Mark Hamill. I know who you are, man. I'm sorry I didn't talk. I'm scared to talk. To this day, sometimes, in the green room, there'll be some celebrities like, what am I doing now? They're gonna throw me out of here. I don't belong in the same room.
I had a moment like that with the Twilight cast, the first one of these that we were all at the same place, and I was like, and I was like, cool. I just want to say hi. I'm so silly, but I just, that day was very cool. That was like when it felt like a community and a family, and like the script came alive a little because you didn't have to pause in between all the lines, because I think there were 10 of us, 9 or 10 of us.
I must admit, but I don't know. I don't remember formally meeting you.
Yeah, there were so many people there that day, though. Like the studio normally, like sometimes Mike and Brian, maybe a director, there was like 3 or 4 people usually sitting and watching the recording, which is not normal, by the way. Normally it's like you and the director, and there was so much community around the creation of this show, which I think is why it's so special. But that last day, it was packed in there. There were artists, there were directors, there were producers, like so many people were there for like the last episode, and it just felt so alive. And I was like, this is so cool. And yes, everyone was like freaking out about this one guy, and I was like, what is happening? Why are all these people freaking out about this dude over here? I didn't really understand. I'd seen Star Wars, but like, I was 12, I'm 13. I was like, I was like, okay, he's Luke Skywalker. Why is everyone freaking out?
Well, it was like, another time when very much in the Mark Hamill genre, I didn't actually speak to him because I was afraid to. I was going into an audition, and he was coming out of it. Now, I was 6 years old in 1966. Adam West was Batman.
Ooh,
and Batman was
cool.
coming out of the booth, and I was going in, and I was just freaking out. Oh my God, it's Batman!
I'm trying to figure, I think I freaked out when I met Jim Cummings because of Winnie the Pooh. And so that was, I think that might have been one of my bigger freak out moments, because I was like, oh my gosh, I've been listening to, what do I want? Do I want to take a picture? Should I say hi? Should I get his autograph? What do I do? I don't know what to do. I was like, I freaked out.
It still freaks me a little bit. Gray still freaks me out a little bit.
Gray's
Because it's like, Gray, you're one of the greatest voice actresses ever. I can't believe I'm on the same stage with you.
one of the greatest voice actors. Just take me away.
Johnny.
Greg, there's something I kind of wanted to dive in with you a little bit, because you mentioned it earlier tonight. You said that you were at Disney working in Burbank as a paralegal, and then you ended up getting the audition for this. What was the moment that you decided to bet on yourself?
The universe did it for you.
Yeah, I think the universe kind of did that for me. I mean, the way I knew that I had a very good shot, probably, of getting the part, only because of, and Iroh says, destiny is a funny thing. You never know how things are going to work out. If I had, because of a very specific birthday present I received on my 17th birthday, is literally why I'm here right now. I loved musicals. I still love musicals, as you know. In 1977, there was a musical called Pacific Overtures, starred an actor named Mako Iwamatsu. Stephen Sondheim musical. He was nominated for a Tony. And Mom and Dad gave me this record album for my 17th birthday, and it quickly became my favorite musical of all time. And so, like you do with musicals or the music in general, I would sing along over and over and over again in my room as a teenager, and not realizing that every time I was singing along with Mako, I was actually working on a Mako impression. And so when I found out that he had passed and they were looking for a voice match, I knew, well, you know, I think I might have a pretty good shot at this, because I've sort of been doing the voice for 20 years now, you know? Ironically though, you know, they say when one door closes, another door opens. The day I had been with Disney at this point for 13 years. I was called into my supervisor's office. HR was there, the angel of death. I knew, uh-oh, guess who's getting laid off? It looks like my number just came up, and it did. And I was back in my office going, oh my God, my kids were just become teenagers, so I was going, college, what am I gonna do, you know? Within an hour of being laid off, my agent called and said, Nickelodeon just called, you're their #1 pick for Iroh, they'd like to see you at the studio next week. So, it's true. When one door closes, another door opens, you know?
Yeah.
That's such an incredible story. Thank you for sharing that, Greg.
So cool.
Look, I know we don't have a ton of time left, but I do want to ask you this before we go. This is the 20th anniversary of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's inspired so many people from all walks of life. So, meeting all the fans and having the last 20 years to kind of sit with these characters, has your perception of the characters changed through do you look at the characters now through a different lens maybe than when you were doing the show? And has your perception of the characters changed from your fan interactions with people?
I knew Iroh was a very, very well-written character. But it wasn't until I started coming out to these fan conventions that I realized the impact that Iroh has as a positive male role model in a world that desperately needs them. And I think that is what is particularly about Iroh means the most to me. And I've thought about it. And in 2025, let's face it, we don't agree on much, you know, as humans. But I've never run across anybody that's like, oh, Uncle Iroh, I hate that character. Ew. Iroh is as universally beloved as it's possible, I think, for something to be in this weary world. And I've thought about it a lot, and I think the reason is we all have fathers, right? Iroh reminds you of the father that you were lucky enough to have, or the father that you desperately wanted, or the father that you hope to be. And I think that's the universality of the character, and that's why it is impacted. So, yeah, the character of Uncle Iroh, you know, I'll go home, go home to my wife. It's good to have a wife like this. I go home, I'm home. And oh yeah. Beloved father figure to a generation, clean up the dog poop. And I clean up the dog poop. That's why I've been married for 40 years.
The clap for him. He's like, yes.
You know what I'm talking about. You know.
That's so funny. Yeah, I definitely think, you know, the perspective of my own character, but also the whole show has absolutely changed. I mean, I grew up, as many of you did with me, with the show, and obviously watching it now, lots of things will hit very different than when I was 12 years old. I think Toph herself, you know, at the time, just being in middle school, I don't think some of the deeper topics hit as much. It was like, cool, she's fierce and independent, the greatest earthbender. She can kind of beat anyone up, and she's a badass, and I love that. And she's so independent, you know, she can carry her own weight, and, you know, I'm not looking for anyone's approval. And I feel like I resonated with a lot of that. My mom and I moved out to LA, just us two. And it was very much like us against the world. And it was like, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. There's a lot of similarities in like how we functioned, and I think that totally was funneled into Toph. And as I've gotten older and watched the show back and realize how hard it is for her and for me to rely on friends and like actually make a community and be like, hey, I'm gonna trust these people with my whole life and then actually show up for them the way that they need. She is not good at that. Especially in like the chase, when we have our lovely scene, our fascinating strangers.
There's nothing wrong with letting the people who love you help you. Not that I love you, I just met you.
Yes. Good clarification there. But that is something that it's like smacked me in the face the past couple years, because I'm still not great at that. I'm like, I'll just do it myself. It's like, I'll just run away to the swamps. I'll just do it by myself. It's fine. And I was like, Michaela, I think that you can't though. Like, they could not have defeated the Fire Lord if they didn't work together. They wouldn't have grown to be the best people they could be without like balancing out each other. There's a lot of patience and forgiveness and sacrifice in building a community, and I think that it's scary if you're not used to it, but I think it's one of the most I don't know, fulfilling things of just being alive in this lifetime, in this timeline, and that if you can do it and find a good community and build it, that's kind of priceless, and that's kind of the point. And I mean, I think it's kind of funny that at the end, Toph is the one that's like, do you really think friendships can last more than one lifetime? When she's the one that like is so tough, and I'm like, I see you, you and your feelings. So yeah, I mean, it's been kind of cool to grow up with the show, because when I watch it now, each time I watch it in my different phases of life, I'm now 31, woo, it's like, it's gonna hit a little bit different each time, and I'm like, ooh, this is hitting a little deeper, this is a little crazy. Yeah, it's very cool.
Look, I can't thank you guys enough for being here tonight. Also for reading that to us. I feel like that got us right in the holiday spirit.
Happy
We were going to do the Grinch, but it's too long.
Yeah.
Got us right in the holiday spirit. But I hope that each one of you that had a question for them, I hope this was an icebreaker enough for you to go and ask your questions in their booth. They're here, they're down-to-earth people, they're super chill. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and thank you guys for joining us tonight. You guys are incredible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's hear it for 20 years. That's fun. Guys, let's hear it. Thank you guys for joining us.
I think pro photo ops today at 8:20.
Yeah.
And other than that, we'll be just hanging at our table for a little bit more tonight if you do want to swing by.
And after that, you can find me at the hotel bar.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Buy this man a drink at the hotel bar. Thanks, guys.